I edited this video myself, so you can probably tell because of the sound quality and everything. Um, this is gonna be fun to talk about for a minute because I feel like I should explain myself a little bit. I asked for something to become my next XCOM in 2018, 2019. I needed something that could be played for hours and hours and hours, and I invented this. But I think we found it. Something that can be played for hours. It has a lot of strategy and a lot of thought and a lot of forethought. I can talk while I'm doing it very easily, and it's you guys whose lives are on the line. I mean, we have to make some self-imposed rules to really play it full-on Iron Man mode with permanent consequences. But this is apparently a common thing, at least for these types of games. I didn't know that. Now I do, and it makes me smile. I'm talking about Pokemon. You're all looking at me funny. At least most of you. Everyone's heard of Pokemon, but I started this journey 25 years later than everyone else. I think that's what you call it. Apparently they call grinding training, so I guess, journey? It's an RPG, okay? Let's just go with that. Whenever I talk about my caretakers until I was kicked out of the house, it's a little difficult, but here it goes. When I was 10, everyone knew what Pokemon was. Or was starting to. Year was 1996, Pokemon Red Blue comes out. It's the biggest thing in video games ever, and I'm told you can't have it, it's the devil. I'm not even exaggerating. They said because Pokemon meant pocket monster, they're demons and it's the devil and you can't have it. I watched as more than half of my school bus in 5th grade would carry Game Boys to school, play them on the bus, put them away during the school day. Some of them would get caught during the school day trying to play them, and then play them all the way home. Out of 53 students on the school bus, 31 had to register having a Game Boy with the school so they wouldn't get them confiscated. I remember that because I remember looking at the cubby holes and counting to see how many there were. 31 on my school bus. There are 6 school buses. 31 on just mine. You remember stupid stuff from when you were a kid, don't you? Like how many people had Game Boys in your class. And I had to watch them play and have fun with it every day and talk about it and everything, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I wasn't allowed to know. The rest of the class had at least seen the show. Before this week, I'd watched 6 episodes total, out of order, one of which was a 2-parter, so I had no frame of reference. And Kichi and the gang sat me down for a Friday night anime night and watched a Pokemon movie. I still don't know the name, remember the name, but this was about a month and a half ago, with Latia and Latias, the twins, the twin dragons that could turn invisible. It was weird to me, like just weird. They were all having a good time. I was just kind of like, this is neat, but I don't understand. And I didn't want to say I didn't understand. I thank them for letting me watch it with them, and I thank them for inviting me to the watch party and us having a good time, but I didn't really understand. 3 months ago, when Chris and I were making a song, she started humming the Pokemon theme song. I had to look up the words to verify what it was. You know, you probably have heard this because I hadn't really until, well, then, when this was back in February when we were making that song. I want to be the very best, the best there ever was. Every time somebody said that, I didn't understand, and haven't for 25 years. Well, Tuesday. We're talking it over, and I go, okay, fine. I've agreed to play Pokemon. I've never played a Pokemon game in my life. So before I go spend hundreds of dollars to get a Switch, get a Pokemon game, and get a capture card, I'm going to flip on what I missed when I was 10. And so we powered up the emulator. Bones gave me a link to the emulator. Legate Lori gave me a link to various Pokemon games, and I said, alright, what's the difference here in red, blue, green, yellow? And they started listing off differences, and I went, I'm just going to take yellow. So I powered up yellow. Pokemon yellow. Not the new thing that's Let's Go Pikachu. I mean 1998 Game Boy Pokemon Yellow. I've been playing it for, well, including training off screen, 55 hours, 35 minutes, and 32 seconds this week. I'm genuinely upset I missed this. Patreon has asked me to make videos about it. To kind of record my thoughts and my feelings and actually give an impression from someone who's never played any of this. People have been arguing, like, you should start with this, you start with this. I'm like, no, you don't. Before someone starts chipping in that I should start with this or that, or should go do this, or should go, stop. Okay? I am trying to catch up to things from 25 years ago that I wasn't allowed to have, that I wasn't allowed to enjoy, and I wasn't allowed to care about. That I was picked on for not knowing. And that I kind of had to play dumb a lot to get by. So here I am. Making a video about 8-bit sprites that exist on a Game Boy emulator. And almost bursting into tears over it. Why? I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. It's like the first time I played through Chrono Trigger at the Boys and Girls Club in Hueytown, Alabama, from beginning to end. It took all week. I had to constantly go in and overwrite everyone else's save whenever it wasn't in my game room to make sure that it was only my save so I could play through it from beginning to end and get all the way to the end. And I remember the crowd of the entire game room had gotten up and come over and sat down in front of a CRT monitor. There were Star Fox and GoldenEye and over here we had a PlayStation running, and there were Sega Saturns going, and they're sitting over here watching a kid play a Super Nintendo game called Chrono Trigger, fighting Lavos. Actual Lavos, having played through the entire game beginning to end, because the few friends I had gone around to the game room and had told people, hey, come watch this, come watch this. And so the staff is even crowding in watching. And no one's talking. I'm reminded of that. And I'm like, why didn't I get to play this? This wasn't fair. So before you tell me I should move to this game or that, no, listen, here's what I'm going to do. And here is what we're doing for the next few months on Twitch. So, Legate Lori has sent me some guides for how to convert Pokemon from first gen to second to third to fourth to fifth to sixth to seventh, all the way to transfer them from emulator to an actual 3DS running Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. And then transfer them from the 3DS to Pokemon Home. And there'd be no issues and no problems. So I can then pull them onto the Switch. I have until the release of Scarlet and Violet to catch up. I don't know when that release is. It's supposed to be released late this year, so we're looking hopefully November or December for my benefit. But I have till then to play Yellow, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, probably Black or White, and then when I go to Black or White 2, pick the other one that I didn't play last time. X and Y, Sun and Moon, Diamond and Pearl, Brilliant, into Legends. Beginning to end. I might pick up Sword and Shield, though some people are against that. I don't even understand why. They'd have to explain it to me. But I'm not going to experience it with the remakes or the updated versions. Apparently, this Pokemon fandom has a lot of people. And a lot of people who are quite talented and very dedicated. And I can move from Gen 1 to 2 to 3, believe it or not, all the way to putting them on Pokemon Home. So I've created a list of rules. And I'm way off script. I'm rambling and trying not to tear up, and I'm pretty sure my makeup's right. So I've created a list of rules. They're linked in the description below, but I'll read them real quick. And this is to make it hard, challenging, and have actual consequences for my screw-ups as I learn. One, I cannot have Pokemon who are higher or lower than 5 levels of the current gym leader. If they're lower, I've got to train them up. If they're higher, I can't use them for that fight. Anytime I enter a dungeon, the first time into an area, the first pass through on a zone or route, or a place where, it's a gauntlet, I have to go through the entire thing. No turning back to go to the Poke Center. I must push through to the next Poke Center or defeat the boss before I can leave. I can carry potions, ethers, whatever items, but once they're out, or I can't turn them back. I can only capture a Pokemon under the following conditions. We're not doing collect them all. That seems absurd, and like it would take days or weeks of real life. So I have some rules for what I can catch. And this I'm going to keep this as like a living rule list as we go. For catching things, one, I have to actually learn about it. I have to go read, and I have to, make a conscious decision that I'm going to take care of it as if it were a pet. We're just agreeing to no animal abuse here. Just straight up. No one's getting locked in a computer forever. I cannot have already caught something on this route, area, dungeon, or zone. Once I get the first gym badge, it's not a true Nuzlocke, because that seems like I'd probably fail a lot. I'm not ready for that. But once I get the first badge, anything, I can only catch one thing on each route, in each area, dungeon, or zone. And yes, this means Safari Zone, you get one. Make a careful choice. I cannot already own a copy of it, or have previously owned one. We will obey Steve Irwin. We will respect and preserve nature. I have to actually be willing to train them, which means when I do train up, that is to say, when I go out and start training Pokemon to get to a certain level, I have to train everyone currently in my roster to that level. Which will discourage me heavily from catching too many, because then it's going to go from, a couple hours to just all day, just an entire day. Like tonight was just an entire night of mostly training up. And then 1 hour of going from Fuchsia City Gym to Cinnabar Island. And we caught Articuno on the way. Only one of the legendaries I'm actually going to catch this time. I have to give him a nickname. And it has to be not a joke name. It has to be something that's like, this is one of you guys. And I have to refer to you by that name. I only explain the species if someone asks. And no hidden move HM slaves. I'm choose Pokemon who will take the HM, and I will actually also use them in battle. So no Bidoofs, as somebody told me, or no, it starts with a Z. Just none of those that are just all HMs and they just ride around. No, you actually have an HM. Cool, you have one. And then you have an actual moveset, and that's it. When a Pokemon faints, it's dead. Just dead. I have to, at the next opportunity, I have to go to a computer and release it. It's gone. The person who chose to be that Pokemon gets recycled into the name list and can be another one. I may never catch another one. Ever. Through all the games. No matter how valuable that Pokemon was, it's gone. If I caught a male Nidoran and it died before it evolved, I can technically still catch a Nidorino or a Nidoking. But if it was a Nidoking that fainted, died, I can't catch any of them. Yes, this includes misclicks, summoning the wrong one, or just getting unlucky and watching a one-shot KO. We're going to talk about that in a second. No, this doesn't include PvP, so if you guys wanted to have a Pokemon battle, we could without, watching me lose everyone. And no, you cannot offer me a trade to replace them either. I have to catch them. Only reason we could trade something is to evolve it. And then you have to give it back to me. Rule 5. Survivors of the 6 Pokemon chosen to go against the Elite Four and Champion may be transferred to the next game. And they are locked in and able to be transferred forever. So those that survive the end of Yellow get to go to Crystal, and then the remainders from Yellow and those who survive Crystal will go on to Emerald and so on and so forth. So by the time we get to Ultra Sun and Moon, I'm transferring them onto a 3DS. We're looking at what? Up to 48, but I kind of doubt that. Yes, I can modify game code to make them work. Yes, if all else fails, I can recreate them, but they have to start at level 1 if I recreate them. And they may be lowered level to prevent from compromising the game experience, or if, say, they would have learned moves in the new game by being a lower level, they get to get those moves. Lastly, if everyone on my team faints, I'm done. I believe this is referred to as white screening. That's a game over for me. I have to start over from scratch. I must either start the first gen game all over again back at Yellow, or our current game back at the very start with nothing. This is And all or nothing. All previously transferred Pokemon will be lost if I white screen out and wake up in a Poké Center. Everyone's gone. And I'm agreeing to that. High stakes game. Now, I have ground for 55 hours. Trained and captured and played and had a wonderful time. I have 3 gym battles. Someone told me 2 dungeons and Victory Road, the Elite Four, and the champion to face down. What amounts to at this point as no more than a few hours. Many Pokemon I have are 47 to in the 50s. They're right at the range where they're supposed to be to go fight the gym leaders. Actually, all of them are. I'm looking on the other screen right now. That's what the clicking noise is, just to make sure that everyone is there to between 47 and 53. And they are. Except Jenny the Murder Bird, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm ready to go. I am ready to go all the way. So we're going to go all the way. I did 8.5 hours of training tonight to get there. Currently, we are in a dungeon called the Pokemon Mansion. I have saved the game at the very start of it. I'm not looking at guides unless I literally am just running out of options. And even then, it's only to get past the part that I'm not understanding. I've only actually had to look at a guide once. That's the weird part. I've gotten this far, looked at one guide, and it was to find the key card for the Sylph Company. Go figure. Point is this. I know nothing about the Elite Four. I've been told about them, that they exist, but I don't know crap. I've been specifically telling people to not tell me the type that I'm fighting unless it's going to be game ending. I've been taking guesses at what's in each of the gyms and getting it right sometimes, but the one we did tonight, oh boy, it's supposed to be the ground poison gym and it's nothing but psychics, and I'm like, ah! The whole way through, screaming, crying, watching Snorlax literally punch things into oblivion and yeet them out of the way. The ride I had been in for, I was not prepared for. Not to mention, in yellow, the encounter rate in the Articuno tunnel is obscene. We had 3 Pokemon out of move power. Like, just didn't have any moves left. Go figure. But anyway, I have to pick 6 of you on tomorrow's stream to go down Victory Road, up the Elite Four, and whoever the champion person is. I assume that it's somebody I haven't met. I don't know. Don't look at me like that. I really don't. I've never played this. So right now, only 2 spots are taken, for sure. Our MVP, which to no one's surprise, is Murder Bird. Jenny the Pidgeot. She's the first thing I caught, and she's way over leveled, and that's my fault, but good lord. She kills everything, pretty much, that isn't electric or rocks. Great bug killer, great fight ender, just been a good choice. It's like the very first thing I caught was a little Pidgey, and now it's a giant death bird. And so we just send the Murder Bird at it, and it takes care of it. She is the one thing when I don't know what to do, she can take care of it. Second spot. Because I have to take her, because we're playing Pokemon Yellow, and I don't get an option. I can't even put her in the computer without the game actually causing me to have problems with her. Nina the Taser Mouse, aka a Pikachu. Taser Mouse has been literally against anything water. It's just shove her in like you're throwing a toaster into a bathtub to get rid of problems. Honestly, despite all this, I'm still evolving Nina to a Raichu. Nina has been great and fun and wonderful, and there from the very beginning, and I'm still going to evolve her into a Raichu first thing we do when we move to Crystal, if she's not dead. But seriously, Nina the Taser Mouse, 10 out of 10. Now, those two spots are secure, assuming they survive. How hard it will be to survive, I don't know. I don't even know that we'll complete it. We might go to Crystal with nothing. Because once we start the Elite Four, if I white screen, that's it. We lost. Next trainer. Now, the other spots available. I'm going to go over each one and give details on who could fill it. And then I'm going to wrap this video up. As it stands now, I don't believe we will be catching anyone new. That doesn't mean you can't get in. That just means that you can't get in until we start Crystal. And you will be deciding and helping me decide who gets to go in. Now, our anti-psychic Pokemon. This is the one we're going to send in to deal with the psychic type, because as it turns out, psychic is really overpowered. And we have some options. Strange as they may be, we do have options. Now, those options are not what I expected them to be. But we have them. First option. We have the big fluffy yeet destroyer. Avarna, the Snorlax. Seriously, he's so freaking fluffy. I'm going to give him the solar beam to you. Because, you know, icing on the cake of body slam and him just having strength, which we have changed the name of the move to yeet. To yeet us out us the way us. Literally, he just grabs things and just throws them. And it's like, nope, done. He's also really tough and tanky, and he can take the psychic hits. And then he can rest and regenerate all of his health to piss him off while I play a Poke Flute to wake him up. Next choice. QWERTY Mothra the Doomed, if you will, is a Venomoth. QWERTY's been okay. Not great, but strangely fun to see this little bug as a Venonat in action. And it has regeneration, and it has its own Psychic Strike. It has a lot of things going for him, but also QWERTY keeps me constantly worried he's just going to fall over dead. Really, really worried about that. We have Amber, who is a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. I'm kidding, it's a primate now. It was a manky, now it's a primate. Just got Thrash, which kind of just wrecks things, but I don't really have any control once I start it. And that's a lot of damage output. We have Doodle, the Kadabra, the Magician, who can just fight fire with fire. Fuck it, we'll fight fire with fire. We will just have Doodle shoot psychic power at them and hope that her psychic power is greater than theirs. Probably a terrible idea, but we might do it anyway. Another option, we have the medium weight champion of the world, Asriel, the Machoke. He has submission, he can literally just choke him. Like full-on Undertaker chokeslam everybody out. Apparently another good option is Scorpion the Scyther, though not any good against a ghost Pokemon. He does have Double Team and Sword Dance. He would be a real monster to try to deal with if you can get off a couple rounds of double team and then start sword dancing. And suddenly he's super powerful. Bug Samurai. Come on, Scyther. It's a Bug Samurai. Seriously, Bug Samurai? Anyone? No? Fine. Lastly, is a bit of a weird one. I'm gonna admit, I didn't expect to be putting this one here. But they're here. Our Xenomorph Hydralisk. That's a term that horrifies even me. But we have a prehistoric Xenomorph Hydralisk, Everfree the Kabutops. She has very little in the way of outright offense, either slash or just the ultimate water move Hydro Pump. But really good pool of HP, really nice high defense, can harden and absorb. It's just a brick. This is the possible anti-psyker slot of our roster. I mean, we also have to factor in Ghost Pokemon, which may be the decision maker as to who gets put there. But this is the real, like, Ghost type. And also, you know, my personal feelings. Like, Venomoth feels really fragile. Snorlax feels... it's just fun to use. So that might be something that comes into play. Ice and water. I have a lot to say about these. Primarily because I've been using them for a long freaking time, and then I have brand new ones that I haven't gotten to use at all. And I gotta make a decision. So we have Adagio, first and foremost, the Thunder Dragon. He's a Gyarados. I trained this thing from level 5 as a Magikarp. That was brutal. That was hard. It was an entire stream, and then 4.5 hours off stream. Just for one. I spent 8 hours on one Pokemon. How? I'm so sad I missed this as a kid. Oh, we gave him the Thundershock TM for the Thunderbolt. Excuse me. We gave him Thunderbolt for spite. So now he can handle other water types. And Ice Beam. It's a really lethal water type. Up next, we have Drinking Buddy, who made me question my furry awakening and why in the world I didn't get the Pokemon version of it instead of the Digimon one. I have so many questions. Seriously, it has bedroom eyes. It's a Lapras. It has bedroom. You tell me that's not bedroom eyes. Tell me that's not. Moreover, she has Psychic, the actual attack, water moves, and a ton of HP, and is just a really hard nut to crack. I mean, she doesn't have the offense that Gyarados has, but really hard nut to crack. And what the hell? Our only legendary Pokemon, Frozy. Yes, you guys named the Articuno Frozy. And it's the only specifically ice type. It's also a bird. And honestly, real champion looking bird. I have a thing for birds. Can you tell? Haven't gotten to play with her much, but also have to consider here, will I get a chance to get another Lapras, i.e. Drinking Buddy, or Frozy in the future at all? Or is this my only chance to take them with me? Ever? I honestly don't know that question. I don't know if in the next game I can get another one, or if I'll even want to. That's a real question. Much less the fact by rules restrictions, I'm technically not allowed to get another one. Oh boy. But this is Pokemon Yellow. And lastly, we have Legate. Lori was originally a Spearow. Now we're using the first part of her name, Legate, for a literal walking tank. It's a Blastoise. I mean, seriously, as a kid, this is like the image I saw at like the game store and was like, I really want to play that, and was told, no, it's the devil, you're not allowed. This is literally that image where every time I walked by the game store and would see this giant turtle with an actual tank cannon on its back reaching up, and I'd be like, I really want to play that. Not loud. It's a Blastoise. And I gotta figure this out. It can soak a ton of damage, and it has a literal cannon. So, that's the water. Now we get into our ground pounder slot. There's only 3 in this one. First, we have our very first ground pounder. The one who survived, her brother did not. The big, extra thick destruction girl, Nido Queen, Pony Chick. And she's been here kind of forever. Like, I feel guilty just putting her in the computer when I have to change her out for someone else. It just feels wrong. And she hits like a freight train. Though I have also seen her get hit like a freight train and watched her hit point bar go, wee! Thankfully, it hasn't run out yet. But that is a question I have to ask. Will she survive? Up next, we have our Freddy Krueger Hedgehog. James, the Sandslash. Seriously, you cannot tell me this thing is not Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles' love child. James takes amazing amounts of punishment and deals it right back. And he has Dig as his HM, so he can whee and just ignore a round of attacks and smack somebody in the face really hard as long as they're on the ground. Lastly, we have our Assault Fox. Chris, the Eevee. I gave an Eevee Body Slam and Skull Bash and Double Team. What's wrong with me? I don't know, but it's funny to watch an unhittable Eevee body slam your opponents into submission before skull bashing someone out of the park. It's really funny, actually. That's it for our ground pounder slot. Now we get into our fire spot. If you're gonna bring water and ice, you gotta bring the fire. And these Pokemon are literally flaming! Not flaming gay, though. Although I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they burn things, you know. Now, the choices are rather varied and strange. We have Brett, who started out as a little fire lizard and is now just a really big fire lizard. How is this not a dragon? How is this not a dragon? Someone explain it to me. But Brett does have a few TMs put into it, and a lot of training. And between the seismic toss and the sword dance, he also has real fireballs to throw if he actually has to breathe fire. Cool. Our second fire Pokemon took forever to get. I had to build a freaking computer algorithm with a macro button and let it run all night long to get her. I didn't want to sit there for hours on end in the freaking casino. You all know who I'm talking about. The literal Firefox. Solar Aura. The Vulpix. Seriously, it's a 6-cell fox that spits fire. It doesn't have a second subtype. She's just fire. She's flaming for the fox. She works flaming. That's all she does. I gave her some other abilities too, but she mostly works flaming. And 2 new possibilities, things we just got on stream. 1, Sophie the Growlithe. This little puppy is just the same as Solar Aura, just another kind of puppy. This is just our Assault Corgi. Actually, that's Chris the Eevee's our Assault Corgi. I don't know what to call this thing yet. But I did give it my substitute and Toxic TM. So it would have something besides fire. It also has bite, and it burns things. Cool. It gives her a lot of variety of options, and she kind of has similar stats to Solar Aura the Vulpix, so... And by the way, Cloudburn, you're the horse that lived. Ha! You're a Rapidash now, too, so you even got a fancy unicorn horn. Not to mention, you have a lot of just high power attacks. Like, a lot. And literally stomp. Like, you can just stomp people out of existence. That makes up everyone that can go to the Final Four and champion with us. Before we go to the gyms that are supposedly breakingly hard, potentially lethal for all of you, and according to one person, literally a run-ending gym. That's who we have. I know I'm leaving some out. I've trained up all our lovely volunteers to the maximum level I allow myself. With Jenny the Murder Bird being an exception because she's just the MVP, and instead of, how the screen shows Pikachu following around, no, there's just a giant murder bird that follows me around. No offense, Pikachu, I like the giant murder bird better. I have to mention two other categories. The Fallen, first off. Those who've simply died because of my mistakes. First off, we lost Coyote, who died because I didn't expect a Sandshrew to hit that hard. And he used a slash and instantly KO'd him from full to dead. Just dead. Nothing I could do about it. The little Nidoran never had a chance to become anything amazing. And it's my fault. Second, Lori, the Spearow. This one really served to kind of tell me critical hits can just kill you outright. A little Mankey, a Pokemon I was training against to just level him up, smashed her with a single low kick to the face and put her into a permanent coma. Twitty. This was actually not even bad luck or just something hitting too hard that I didn't expect. This was just me misclicking. I put him in the battle after he evolved from Rattata to Eradicate. He hadn't been healed yet. I made the mistake of clicking him instead of Jenny the Murder Bird. And you know what? A Bellsprout above Cerulean City, where I had just told me I had forgotten my manners, and made me realize I have to pay attention when you're doing training. Smashed him with a Vine Whip. And that was it. Nothing I could do. From 18 hit points to dead instantly. Bye, Twitty. Sorry. Lastly, type advantage to my face. Australia. Oh, 50 Shades of Australia. You were a Butterfree at some point. However, I can't tell that anymore because an Onyx rock threw you out of existence. I watched 88 hit points disappear off the screen as the Onyx did 4 times damage to him without even critical hitting. This wasn't even a critical. This was just a normal, and it smashed him like a bug, squashed out of existence. Dead in one hit, no crit. A salute. And I hope no one has to join you before we get through Yellow and begin Crystal. Now, honorary mentions. These are the two Pokemon we have that are just not going to come with us. There's nothing I can do. Simply put, I'm not able to bring them. There's no amount of training I could do to get them to where they need to be. And I just don't really feel like I have a place for them. First off, we have Ginger the Danger Noodle. I really wish I could take the time to train up their final attack and then let them evolve straight to a Dragonite. But that could take an entire day to get Hyper Beam. Sadly, she has no real place in our current roster without evolving to be big, bad, fat Dragonite. As much as I want to bring her, I can say certainly she won't be coming to the final rounds. Unless our roster is just decimated and I'm looking for someone to fill. And lastly, the prehistoric Jurassic Park style one. Final Sight, our Aerodactyl. I got this at the end of the stream. I trained it up. It's a flying brick that would give the space shuttle a run for its money. But I don't feel like I can bring 2 flyers. And Jenny the Murder Bird is definitely not getting left behind. So, sorry, Final Sight. You just came too late. That's the full roster. That's all our options. As well as everyone has been brought onto our little team since we started this week. Next week, we'll be moving to Crystal. I'll see you over on Twitch. Keep your eyes on Twitch. I have to go get a COVID shot today, and then after that, I'll be over on Twitch. I'll be starting tonight, and whatever we don't finish tonight, I'll be finishing on Tuesday. And we'll be moving to Crystal on Tuesday before I go to Sequestria Fest. Thank you for listening to the story leading up to this point. If you made it this far, type ... for the algorithm in the comments, and then tell me what kind of cookie you went and got. Because you deserve a cookie, and I want to hear what kind of cookies you guys have been eating. Don't judge me. Do it. Go get a cookie. And thank you for letting me experience and tell you about something that I've never touched. It's just... If you've ever held something as your kid and thought it was magic, this is what that feeling is when I've been playing this week. It's that little tingle in the back of your head, and it's that indescribable feeling of awe, wonder, curiosity, and excitement, while being nervous. There's only one word for that emotion. Magic. I'm starting to understand why people like this. I'm starting to understand the memes that I've been shown that I just kind of chuckle at sometimes, and now I'm really understanding them, and I'm like, holy shit. What all jokes have I been missing out on? And now I can understand why other people like it, and their love for it, and their passion for it. Not to mention, thank you for your patience. I'm not an expert at this game. I'm not good. I'm not the person you should probably be talking to about tips, because I don't know. I haven't even finished memorizing the type chart for Gen 1, and they're telling me that when I start Crystal, the type chart's going to get bigger and going to get expanded on, and I'm like, I haven't even got the type chart for 1 done yet. And I'm at the end of 1. At least the main game part. I'm also told this is one of the first games where you can play after you beat the final boss. Neat. Just neat. I won't be doing that, though. I'll be moving on to Crystal. Hope you'll join me for the last bits of Yellow and us moving to Crystal. Thank you again. And please do take care of yourselves. I'll be giving a full journey report with Yellow's MVP as the centerpiece of our journey while I'm away. Good night, everyone. And I'll see you on Twitch later today. It's nighttime outside. It's actually bedtime, but that's why I said good night. Look, don't judge me!